So let me repeat, this is Bill Vilberg with our virtual office hours. We do this every Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. We also record the sessions, and let's see, I can paste over here. There it is. That's the link to the recordings that we're putting up every week of each segment from every session. Today, there's three of us, Bill Vilberg, Brett Stevens, and Rick Ramos. Both Brett and Rick will be presenting. Brett and Rick, you want to introduce yourselves real quickly?
Hello, everybody. This is Rick Ramos, Blackboard Help Desk. Good to see you today, and hope that you're going to like the adaptive release for those that are not familiar with it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brett Stevens. I'm the Systems Analyst here with the Learning Platforms team. I'll be talking to you today about running a Collaborate session.
Great. That may be all that you see of us, because we're going to be talking about content mainly. And you've now met us, and virtually we met you by looking at the list of people in the participants thing. This week's agenda starts off with an introduction by me on using the Collaborate interface, very quickly, just going through what you'll do as participants. Then Rick will do the adaptive release in Blackboard, setting rules to control the availability of content. And Brett will talk about running a Collaborate session, being a moderator and running your own sessions. So let's get started. Using the Collaborate interface is extremely easy, but if you note some things, it can help. There are four main panels: the audio-video panel in the upper left, probably in the upper left of your computer screen right now. Below it, the participants panel. Below that, chat panel. And then the big box where you're looking at my picture is called the content area. I'm going to go through each one of those very quickly and point out some things. So we're going to start with the audio-video panel. At the bottom of that panel, you see a talk button and a video button. My video is on, Rick's is on, so both of us have punched the video button and our video is showing. The talk button is a punch on, or toggle on, and then toggle off. So I clicked it, came on, I've been leaving it on while I'm talking. When I get done, I'll punch it again and it will turn off. Those are the main buttons, and talk is the one that most people tend to use more than the video in these. Right above those two are the volume adjustments. The one on the left is your microphone volume, and that is the volume of your microphone, how well it's picking up your voice and projecting it. Mostly it will set itself, because by default the volume is automatically set. The one on the right is your speaker volume, and sometimes you'll have to play with that. If you get to somebody who's very soft and you can't hear them, move it to the right. Move the little dot slider to the right. If you get to somebody who's real loud and you'd like to quiet them down, slide it back to the left. Up in the upper right-hand corner of the audio-video panel is the Audio Setup Wizard. We encourage you to do that each and every time to make sure that you've got the volume, that you can hear us, and that it's coming out of the right speakers. In my case, I use some earbuds or speakers if you've got it in your computer and have a private area, whatever you want. But you could set all that up through the audio-video wizard, and every time I use this, I go through that. Next to that is a little menu. You can pull that down and get to the audio setup wizard. You can also get to the microphone settings, which are part of the audio setup wizard, but let you choose which microphone you want if you have more than one. The speaker settings that let you see which speakers are being used and change them, and some other things going down the the menu. And actually every one of the panels has a little menu like that that gets to the parts of it. The audio-video panel, as all other panels, have an expand and collapse button. If you collapse it, just 1 second. This is the collapsed version of it, where you just see the talk video buttons, the sliders, and the title. The expanded one is on the right, and that's where you see the pictures. If it isn't expanded, then you can't see me. So expand it. Next one down is the participants panel. And at first look, you think, oh, these are just a list of people, but there's some other stuff here. You can see the list of participants. You can see that Bill, Brett, and Rick are at the top of the list because we're the moderators. We're in charge of the session. And then going down from there are the other participants, the other 9 at this point. And there are some things you can do with those, more than we can do, but that's mainly just a list for you. Up above that, there are 4 little buttons. The first one is called Show Emotion. And go ahead and click on that and then pick an emotion. Are you confused? Would you like it to go slower, faster? Are you laughing out loud? Yeah, thank you, Shane. Anyway, but that's a way of attracting a little bit of attention and talking about what's going on. Yes, Brett, I see you're confused. You do remember that we do have self-evaluations and supervisors' evaluations coming, so try not to be too confused too much there, Brett. The next one over is the step away button. If you do need to take a phone call, if you need, something comes up, just click the step away, and you can see Brett and Shane have virtually stepped away at this point. It's good to just let people know what's going on. And it's understandable. You're sitting at your desk, probably other things are going to, or you're sitting at home, and other things are going to happen. So the beauty of these webinars is that you can live with those other things happening, but letting us know is kind of nice. The next one is raise lower hand. If you would like to attract our attention because you want to ask a question or something like that, go ahead and click on the raise hand. When you do, it beeps in my ear and you're assigned a number. So you can see Rick clicked on it first, and I would call on him, then Brett raised his hand, Lily, then Shane, and so on. So if you do want to speak or you want to ask a question, you can click on that. We can remove everyone's, or you can click on it again if your question is answered and you don't want anything anymore. And the next one is the most important, and that's responding to a poll. And normally when I say poll, I just mean a question. And that is, would everybody give me a green check if you can hear me? Okay, so either Eric and Jen can't hear me and are just and Manny and are just looking at things, or they haven't found the little checkbox up above, where it's pointed to in this diagram, or they've stepped away and aren't there. But just as a presenter, and I'm sure Brad will talk about this later, interspersing that question, please give me a green check if you can see this on the screen, or give me a green check for this, or whatever. Lets the people interact at some level and changes them from just being passive to at least being active at that level. Down at the bottom is the chat window. You type, let's see, I guess the transcript is up at the top with times and people, and that is scrollable. You can go backwards since you logged in, and at the bottom is where you can enter your message, and you do have off on the right the ability to add a smiley face or something like that, if that's what you'd like to send as a message. The main area that we'll use is the content area. We're currently in the whiteboard. You can see the small, let's see, let me go to here. the small square with a pencil and drawing, and that's where the slides show up, and the content if we're doing desktop sharing, the next one over, or doing a web tour. All of that is part of the goes in the content area. Let's see, does the recording record only the content area or all side panels? Good question. It actually records everything, though when we make a video, we've only been making the content area. So that, because that's where, in a presentation, that's more important. We belong, or Brett and I often participate in an office, Blackboard office hour, where it's all kinds of system administrators, and actually the chat window is equally or more important. And the chat transcript can be saved and distributed as a text. I don't know. Brett, can you tell me, is it rolled up, or is that just a separate thing? Okay. So you can get it separately or it's rolled up, but you can, taking it out after the fact takes some extra work, but Brett can do it. He's trying to get used to that confused, or adjust for that confused thing he said. So that's the introduction to the Collaborate interface. I think it's important that you know what some of the buttons are and how they work before you use the system. Are there any questions or comments? Sure, Katam, what do you want to use your microphone or type in the chat?
Yeah, hello everyone. Now, I just want to make comment. Thank you very much, Bill, for sharing with us. But I want to make comment about the green check, which is a poll response that we used here. Sometime, like faculty, they can ask questions and they can publish the answer on the content area. So that's something maybe is useful, like, you know, in the end, like to check and show it, publish it in the content area where you have the PowerPoint. And also there is different options where you can have multiple choice, like A, B, C, or A, B, C, D, E. That I found it useful in with the Blackboard Collaborate as well. Thank you.
Yeah, both of those are important, and Brett just looked up the fancy polls. You can actually design stuff in advance or create those kind of questions and put them out there and then show the graph or the number of responses for each one. Absolutely. If you're going to be teaching with this tool, that's a great way to solve the iClicker problem or whatever, get the input from the students. Absolutely. It's beyond my level at this point. I'm starting with the basics and trying to get really comfortable with those, and then I'll move on from there. Anybody else have any questions? If so, raise your hand, even if you're going to use the chat room. And not hearing any. Let me continue on. Thank you.